Amen. Bago lang nato nga gibasa ang entire chapter 8 of Deuteronomy, and if we are to summarize the entire chapter 8 of Deuteronomy in one word, that word would be remember. That's the very word that would best summarize the entire chapter 8. True indeed, kaysa ato pa nga nabasa ganiha, atong nakita how Moses was calling the people of Israel to remember the Lord their God. Not only to remember the Lord their God, but also to remember His commandments and all His dealings upon them. Kung ato ang makita kaganiha sa atong nabasa, verse 1, all the commandments which I command thee this day shall ye observe to do, that ye may live and multiply. Unya diha sa verse 2, and thou shalt remember all the way which the Lord thy God led thee these 40 years in the wilderness. And then coming down to verse 6, therefore thou shalt keep the commandments of the Lord thy God to walk in His ways and to fear Him. Then later on in verse 10, when thou hast eaten and art full, then thou shalt bless the Lord thy God for the good land which He hath given thee. Tanawa ang pahinumdum diha verse 11, beware that thou forget not the Lord thy God in not keeping His commandments and His judgments and His statutes which I command thee this day. Then finally in verse 18, but thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is He that giveth thee power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant, which He sware unto thy fathers, as it is this day. Kung ato nga malantawan kining tanan nga gipanulti ni Moses ngadto sa iyahang mga katawhan, ang katawhan sa Ginoo, ang katawhan sa Israel, gisaysay ni Moses dinhi ang tanan nga gihimo o gibuhat sa ato ang Ginoo diha sa iyahang mga katawhan. If we can remember, it is the Lord who have commanded Moses to go back to Egypt in order for Moses to bring them out of Egypt. And indeed, they have been brought out of Egypt, they have been delivered out of bondage in Egypt, and they are now almost finished with their 40 years of wilderness wandering and on the verge of entering the promised land. Unya, dinhi sa ato ang gibasa, gisaysay ni Moses dinhi o ang tanan nga gihimo sa Ginoo ngadto kanila. Gani iyahagyon gipahinumduman sila, for 40 years the Lord has been with you, and for 40 years He have humbled you. Kaya dihay mga panahon sa suod sa 40 ka tuig that they murmur and grumble and complain against God, and yet the Lord in His grace and mercy would humble them. Pinaagi sa padayon niya nga pagpadayag sa iyahang gahom o sa iyahang pagkamitundanon ngadto sa iyahang mga katawhan. Not only that He humbled them, He also preserved them all these 40 years. If you can take a quick look at verse 4, ingon diha ang Ginoo, thy raiment, no, through Moses, thy raiment wax not old upon thee, neither did thy foot swell these 40 years. Now come to think of it, for 40 years they have been wandering in the wilderness. Upon the Lord is faithful to have preserved them. Na sa sud sa 40 ka katuigan, the raiment waxed not old. Ingon diha, waxed not old. In other words, wa mga daan ang ilahang mga sapot, wa mga daan ang ilahang mga sinina. Kana nagpahinumdum ka nato nga wa mga gabok ang ilahang mga sinina. Imagine 40 years. Think for a moment mga kaigsunan. Now, it is something nga ato ang mapahinumduman, ang ato ang kaugalingon, that if the Lord so preserve us, indeed He is able to preserve us. Now think about that raiment that never has waxed old, wa madaan. That means wa mga gabok. For obviously, asa magud makapangita og sinina og sapot ang iyahang mga katawan in this wilderness wandering. So indeed, pagpahinumdum kanila how the Lord has been faithful unto them. And then eventually, coming down to verse 6 to verse 9, gisaysay gyud ni Moses ngadto sa katawan sa Israel how the Lord has brought them in these 40 years of wilderness wandering and eventually would bring them into the promised land. Now, let's look at verse 6 quickly. Therefore, that you keep the commandments of the Lord thy God, to walk in his ways and to fear him. For the Lord thy God, look at this, bringeth thee into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and depths that spring out of valleys and of hills. If we are to sum it up, they have been promised that they will enter into this land of milk and honey. Apan taliwa ni ining tanan nga himo ug nahimo sa Ginoo alang kanila. Nakita ni Moses that there is a great danger that awaits. There is that great danger that lies ahead sa katawhan sa Israel. Kana once they are settled in the promised land, there is that great danger and peril that they may forget the Lord, their God. Now, having reached the promised land, Moses gave them that stern and solemn warning against forgetting the Lord and of all his goodness that he has done unto them. Ug ato kanang makita diha in verse 13 up to verse 17. And when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all thou hast is multiplied, then thy heart be lifted up, that thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt. Dinhi atong makita the perils of forgetting the Lord. Unya, kung atong tutukan pag-ayo, the perils and the dangers that would cause the people to forget the Lord, kung atong tutukan, they are actually God's blessing. Mga panalangin kini sa Ginoo ngadto kanila. And somehow, ang mga butang nga gihatag sa Ginoo kanila, isip panalangin ngadto kanila, mauna hinuoy hinungdan nganong sila nakalimot sa Ginoo. Looking closely at these verses, mga kaigsunan, I want us to notice the circumstances that may cause the people to forget the Lord. Tanawa og balik ang verse 12. Lest when thou hast eaten and art full, and hast built goodly houses, and dwell therein. So, unsa man ang kahintang, unsa man ang sitwasyon? It is a kind of a comfortable life. Di ba? That they have been full. Unya, they have been living and residing, having settled in their respective homes, in the comfort of their homes. And what else? Ingon diha, and thou hast built goodly houses, and dwelt therein. Then, ikaduha, aside from a comfortable life, notice also a prosperous life. Now, we have been looking at this, ingon diha, and when thy herds and thy flocks multiply, and thy silver and thy gold is multiplied, and all that thou hast is multiplied. A comfortable life, a prosperous life. Nga kung ato ning pagkatan-awon pag-ayo, mga kaigsunan, they are supposed to be the blessing from the Lord. And it is just sad that what is supposed to be a blessing from the Lord are the very reason that caused them to forget the Lord. And this is the peril, mga kaigsunan. This is the danger that we all must watch out sa atoang mga kinabuhi. There is that danger in the midst of comfort and prosperity that we may be so overwhelmed by such blessing that we can so easily forget God. Nga naman eh. It is all because we become so overwhelmed by the blessing. Na ato ang hinong mahalimtan ang tinubdan o ang gigikanan sa maong nga panalangin. And that is what Moses told the people of Israel, that enjoying a comfortable and a prosperous life, verse 14, then thine heart be lifted up, that thou forget the Lord thy God, which brought thee forth out of the land of Egypt, from the house of bondage. That is a sad reality, mga kaigsunan, that we all must watch out sa atuang mga kinabuhi. What more? Now, overwhelmed by the blessing of prosperity and comfort, like the people of Israel, we can also give in to pride and arrogance. Dili lang ato ang malimtan ang Ginoo. What more? We can give in to our pride and arrogance. Nga human sa tanan nga gihimo sa Ginoo kanato, mga panalangin nga gihatag sa Ginoo, a comfortable life and a prosperous life, gipalambo kita sa Ginoo sa atong kinabuhi. At the end of the day, we can succumb to that attitude of forgetting the Lord and give in to pride and arrogance. Now, tanawa o kung sa'y gisulti ni Moses in verse 17. Enjoying a comfortable and prosperous life, you would give in and succumb to pride and arrogance. So, unsa nga paagi, look at verse 17. And thou say in thine heart, my power and might of mine hand had gotten me this wealth. Mao ni siya subo. Kay human sa tanan nga gihimo sa Ginoo diha kanimo, makalimot ka sa Ginoo, unya dugang pa sa imong pagkalimot sa Ginoo, you would be eaten up by your pride and arrogance. So much so that you would not acknowledge God in all that He has blessed you. Isn't it true? Ganit we can so easily dismiss it as what? Oh, that is human nature. Yes. Apan, sayri mga kaigsunan, that as God's people, we no longer have that kind of old sinful human nature. It must give in to that new creation that the Lord is accomplishing and has accomplished in us. Nga sa tanan natong pagkinabuhi, we are supposed to acknowledge the Lord sa ato ang mga kinabuhi. And somehow, mga kaigsunan, as we think about this sad reality that has happened to the children of Israel, Moses gave a very stern and solemn warning that should you ever fall into this mess and should you ever give in to all these dangers and perils, the ultimate consequence upon them in forgetting the Lord would be, look at verse 19, and it shall be, if thou do at all forget the Lord thy God, and walk after other gods, and serve them, and worship them, I testify against you this day, that ye shall surely perish. As the nations which the Lord destroyeth before your face, so shall ye perish, because ye would not be obedient unto the voice of the Lord your God. You know, mga kaigsunan, mao kana ang ultimate consequence sa katawhan sa Israel. If we would look at this account, mga kaigsunan, whether you like to admit it or not, we can identify closely with the people of Israel. Makarelate kita? Yes. Maka-identify kita? Yes. O kung ato yung lantawon ang ato ang kaugalingon, somehow we can really be closely related and be identified because we share similar attitudes with them. For a moment, look back and recall where you are and what you are when the Lord called you and saved you. Ganiha atong nasayran that it is the Lord that brought the people of Israel out of the house of bondage, out of Egypt. Now, kung ato kung itandi ang atong kagalingon ngadto kanila, I want us to look back and recall where you are and what you are when the Lord called you and saved you. Diin kang napita sa imong kinabuhi o unsay kahimtang sa imong kinabuhi sa dihang gitawag ka sa Ginoo. And look back at those times when we struggled sa ato ang kinabuhi. Bisan pa man og naa na ta sa Ginoo, bisan pa man og nakinabuhi na ta sa kinabuhi nga Kristohanon, look back at those times when we struggled even in meeting our most basic needs. Look back in those times. I'm sure you would agree with me nga diha sa pagsugod nato sa ato ang Kristohanong pagkinabuhi, It was never easy. And yet, the Lord is gracious and merciful nga siya mo'y nagauban ka nato, siya mo'y nagasustain ka nato. But, we cannot help but look back in those times when we struggled even in meeting our most basic needs. Gani, kung ikaw diha bag-o nga Kristohanon, daghan kag naagian nga mga kalisod ug mga pagsuway. Yet the Lord has been gracious to sustain us. Unya, human niya mga kaigsunan. Look back in those times, how the Lord supplied and sustained us. Taliwa sa ato ang mga kalisod. Daw sama sa katawhan sa Israel, di ba? Nga in 40 years nilang paglakaw in the wilderness, di ay panahon nga gibati sila kagutom, di ay panahon nga gibati sila kauhaw. It was the Lord all along who has provided, and it was the Lord all along who has sustained them tanan. Hangtod nga siya hangtod sila gidala sa Ginoo dito sa promised land o dito sa diha nga naa na sila sa kaayahay o kaharuhay, kaabunda sa kinabuhi. Nakalimot sila sa Ginoo. Sama kanila mga kaigsunan. Again, whether you like to admit it or not, we can so identify with them. Nga naman, in those times when we even struggle to meet our most basic needs, and of how the Lord supplied and sustained us. And thereafter comes a time that the Lord opened door of opportunities for us. Ug nga sa mao nga mga opportunities nga iyang giabli kanato, the Lord in His grace prospered us and blessed us. Bless us in many ways. Bless us in abundance, in manifold ways. Nagipanalanginan kita sa Ginoo. Nga niya ng panahon na nga magapamalandog ta, we can only look back. Purbida no, sa una maglisod pa man tagpalit og gatas atong bata. Apan karon kaayahay na ba kaayo? Sa panahon nga maghunahuna kita niya na mga kaigsunan, unta, kanunay na itong hinumduman ang Ginoo. Because it is of the Lord nga naabot kita o unsay ato naabtan karon. Apan ang subok kayo nga pamalandungan mga kaigsunan kay gikan sa ato ang gigikanan diha sa atong ginabuhi o sa iyang pagdala kanato hangtod karon og asa kita nahimutang sa atong ginabuhi. Nga diin kita gipalambo sa Ginoo, nga diin kita gipanalanginan sa Ginoo in many ways. There is that danger nga diin mahikalimot kita o mahikalimot kita sa Ginoo. Na kung atong yung paghunaon, it's all by the grace and mercies of God that has brought us and led us to where we are now. But after all that the Lord had done, what happened? Remember the two factors that has drawn the people away from the Lord, that has caused the people of Israel to forget the Lord? Comfortable life and prosperous life. You know mga kaigsunan, these are supposed to be God's blessing kanato. Nga iyang gihatag, kalipay niya nga iyang ipaambit kanato. Apan subok kayo. Because what is supposed to be a blessing that may have drawn us closer and closer to the Lord, somehow, more often than not, we see the opposite happening in the lives of many. Nga taliwa sa kalambuan o sa kaharuhay nga natagamtaman, daw sila nakalimot sa Ginoo. Daw kita gikaon sa ato ang kayahay o sa kabunda o nga ato ang nahikalimtan ang Ginoo. It is just sad because we tend to forget the Lord who is behind it all. Reflecting upon all these things tonight, mga kaigsunan, both na ko, no? After all, we are in this again enhanced community quarantine. We have all the time to really reflect upon our life and ponder upon it, every aspect of it. So, looking at the life of the experience of the people of Israel, of how they indeed have fallen into the snare and into the trap, that they have become so overwhelmed by God's goodness and all the blessing that the Lord has given them, they have somehow, sad as it is, They have put aside the Lord and have forgotten Him. Kung somehow, sama kanila mga kaigsunan, kita nahulog usab sa mao nga sitwasyon o sa mao nga litag nga niining kagabion. In the midst of this, may we all be humbled in our hearts to una, realize how much we have failed God. All these years, the Lord has been faithful to us. Gikan sa atoang sinugdanan sa atong Kristohanong pagkinabuhi, gikan sa tanan nga mga pagsuway kalisod nga atong nagian, sa ako anang giingon ganiha, sa mga panahon nga maglisod ganita sa pagpalit, even the most basic needs sa atong kinabuhi, bugas, pagkaon, gatas sa atong mga bata, anyit, kung atong balik-balikan, somehow the Lord has been faithful na nalampasan to nato tanan. Kunya gihatagan kita niya mga kalambuan, nakatagabtam tag kaharuhay apan diin man karon ang Ginoo sa ato ang kinabuhi. And this is what I want us to really reflect on, mga kaigsunan. As I have been saying, and I would like to say it again, this is what matters most sa ato ang kinabuhi. I want us to realize how much we have failed God. Tonight, take time to examine and see for yourself where God is in terms of your priority in life. Take time to examine and see for yourself where God is in terms of your priority in life. Diin man dapita ang Ginoo diha sa imong kinabuhi. Diin man dapita ang Ginoo diha sa imong priority. Where is God in your life in terms of your plans? Where is God in your life in terms of your goals? In those things that you want to achieve, in those things that you want to accomplish in your life. You know, mga kaigsunan, if not for this pandemic, if not for this COVID-19 that has put a hard break, we could have gone far in pursuing our ambitions without God. Nga kung ato ba ning isipon, daw sama ni siya nga kusog na kayo itong dagat o nisutoy ni hanoy lang kita sa ato ang pagpadagan sa ato ang sakyanan. Nga kalit na ay nitunog sa ato ang brake na nihunong og kalit ang atong disakyan. Nga diin kita nahigmata tayong pasa. Yes, if not for this pandemic that has placed the hard brake on, we could have gone far in pursuing our ambitions in life without God or apart from God. Nihanoy lang yun ta. Could not care less, could not be bothered. Wala tayo simba-simba. Wala tayo tambong sa mga tigom sa mga pagsimba. Gani siguro, wala tayo atuang personal quiet time. Kaya nga naman, we have been too occupied in pursuing our dreams and our ambitions in life without God. Mo kana mga kaigsunan, nga ako ang dasigon ang matag-usa kaninyo, realize how much we have failed God. Ikaduha mga kaigsunan, having come into a realization sa ato ang mga kapakyasan sa Ginoo, repent from all your sin in forgetting God. Repent from your sin in forgetting God. It's never too late, mga kaigsunan, to come back to the Lord and seek His forgiveness. Diyan gipahinumduman kita nga sa ato ang kahanoy, just when we think nga we are in control, nga we are in control sa kanang accelerator sa atong sakyanan, we are in control sa steering wheel sa atong sakyanan, hanoy na kaya itong dagan, di ba? Until there is that hard brake on. Kalit lang na tindak sa brake ug nahunong ang tanan sa ato ang kinabuhi. Nga diin, tungod sa kakalit o kapaspas o sa kakusog sa maong brake, daw murag nahigmata o nasagunto ta, nga nahigmata o napukaw kita, nga tinuod kusog raday kayo ang atong dagan. Unya sa kakusog kayo sa atong dagan, pursuing our ambitions in life, we never have thought and we never have realized na what di ay nato maapil ang Ginoo sa tanan. Realize how much we fail God and repent from your sin in forgetting God. This COVID-19 is a wake-up call for God's people to realize how serious a mistake it is for us to forget Him. Just when you think that you are stable and strong enough to stand on your own, that you dare put aside God, that you dare ignore God, that you dare to lay aside everything pertaining to God, I hope that this COVID-19 is enough to humble you, is enough to humble all of us, and cause us to really realize the truth of the matter, that apart from God, we can do nothing. Realize how much we failed God. Repent from your sin in forgetting God. The third and the last. Resolve to always remember God and never again forget Him. Ako musbon mga kaigsunan. Resolve. Make it your resolution to always remember and never again forget the Lord. I hope nga kini nga to karong giatubang nga pagsuway talagsaon, one of a kind, igo na kini nga makapaghigmata ka nato ug sa pagkahigmata nato nga di na gyud ta mo balik pag-usab, pag-entertain sa idea nga makabarog ra gyud ta sa tuang kaugalingon kay sa tinud-anay lang mga kaigsunan, usalan ka virus, igo na gyud nga magpukan ka nato. And this should serve as a lesson for all of us. Daghan kong mga pagtulunan nga nakatunan ining ato ang giatubang karon ug ako nagtuo nga kamo usab daghan nga og nakatunan. We are learning because we are in this together mga kaigsunan. That I pray that we would learn our lessons well. And that particular lesson that we must learn is to what? To always remember the Lord and never again forget Him. Ayaw na yun. Ibutang yun diha imong kasing-kasing. Anong nainin mo nga pahinumduman imuhang kaugalingon. Remember what verse 18 says? But thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is He that giveth thee power to get well. What's supposed to be a blessing from the Lord? A comfortable life? Prosperous life? Be careful. Be watchful. Because you can be so overwhelmed by all these things nga diin may kahikalimot ka na hinuon sa atong Ginoo. By the grace and mercies of God, nahiabot kita niini nga punto sa atong kinabuhi. Ug gialaw sa Ginoo nga taliwa sa kadagaya sa iyang panalangin nga gihatag kanato, as I have use that illustration of a speeding vehicle nga diin siya usab sa iyang paghatag kanato sa dagaya nga panalangin. Remember, a comfortable and prosperous life apan tungod sa tanan nga atong nahimo nga ni hanoy lang kita og nipakusog lang kita pag-ayo, gitugot sa Ginoo that there is that hard brake put on nga ni hunong ug kalit kang ato ang sakyanan ug kitang tanan na sa bunto, kitang tanan na kuratan, kitang tanan na alarma, kitang tanan na pukaw. I pray mga kaigsunan nga taliwa nining tanan, may we be able to come to terms with ourselves. Enough with all the pride and arrogance. Let's face it. Let's admit it. Apart from God, we are nothing. In fact, in the words of the psalmist, even in the words of Abraham, we are but dust. We are but worm before God. Don't you ever think that you will be able to make it through life without Him. And so, sa ato ang pagpadayon niini nga enhanced community quarantine, and as we continue to meditate, I hope nga nakabantay mo ug nakanotice ka mo nga ang atuang mga temas atong gipangtun-an karon is more about comfort in the Lord, trusting in the Lord, and on the other hand, a reminder for all of us nga din ato apong ma-examine atong kaugalingon diin tang dapita diha sa atong paglakaw ug asa na tang dapita ug asa dapit ang Ginoo diha sa atoa nga kinabuhi. Nga niining kagabion, as we come to a close niya at pagpamalandong, may I encourage each one of you na nakiguban kanamo diha sa inyong mga Pinoyanan. Let us make that resolve to remember the Lord and acknowledge Him and never again to forget Him. Let's draw closer and closer unto Him and never again depart from Him. Let's stick it out with Him to the very end. Kay siya o siya lamang ngayon ato ang masandigan, masaligan, malauman sa tanan. After all, siya atong Diyos. Diyos makagagahom, Diyos nga ato ang manluluwas. May the Lord be merciful.